Good evening, everyone. Let me deliver the welcome speech for this webinar. Respected Principal Madam, our Head of the Department, Dr. Shyamala Devi, the resource person for today's webinar, Dr. N. Maria Joseph, dear colleagues, the participants from other institutions, and my dear students. I am very happy in welcoming all of you for this webinar. Our department proposed to conduct a national level symposium in the month of March 2020. When we had just 4 days to stage the event, we had to stop the event following the order of the government to stop the spread of COVID-19. Until now, we are restricted not to convene any such offline event. However, this new normal situation has given us an opportunity to conduct such academic events virtually. Hence, we in the department plan to conduct a webinar series on changing dynamics of business. The webinar series consists of 3 events. The first one is scheduled today. For that only we are meeting. Now let me introduce the resource person for today's webinar. He is Dr. N. Maria Joseph, Faculty of Commerce, Loyola College, Chennai. Sir is working in the aided stream of the college. He is not only my former colleague, but my best friend as well. His academic qualification is MCom, MPhil, B.Ed, MBA, PGD-MM and PhD. He has authored more than 25 articles that have been published in popular national and international journals. He has coordinated the conduct of a good number of conferences, seminars and workshops in the field of commerce. He is a dedicated researcher. Above all, he is a great teacher who has a unique style of teaching. He is well positioned in the minds of his students for the method of teaching. Perhaps he is an asset to the institution where he is working. Marie Joseph sir, we are very happy to have you in this online platform today. Like all others, I am also very eager to listen to your lecture on the topic transition of rural markets from candlelight to satellite era. Now I hand over the virtual platform to Dr. Maria Joseph.
So thank you very much, sir, for your introduction. I think I'm audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible, sir. You are audible.
Thank you. It was a really very pleasant moment for me to collaborate with one of my best friends, a great academician and my intellectual mentor, Dr. J.J. Soundarajan. And you know, we used to call him as Philip Kotler of Loyola College, a man who is so dedicated to the field of marketing. He was actually my inspiration, incidentally, to do research in rural marketing as well. So it was a great opportunity for me to have this wonderful session to be delivered to you. At the outset, right, I sincerely thank the principal of M.V. Muttaiah Government Arts College for Women for giving this wonderful opportunity, and also the convener, Dr. S. Shyamala Devi, Associate Professor and other Department of Commerce for taking the initiative, and also the organizing secretaries and the coordinators for doing this great job. Because today the situation is not normal, it is quite abnormal. And you know, although we are doing a wonderful work as academician in the online mode, this sort of initiative is so unique. So I take this opportunity to thank right, each and everyone. It is also my duty to welcome all of you to this session. It's so wonderful to have a webinar series on changing dynamics of business, because today the situation is abnormal, and you know, you have no time, right, to think of an alternative. So you have to change instantaneously. So the dynamics of business is so rapidly changing, and we need to cope up with that. Although we are not directly associated with the business, we are also stakeholders of the business, in the sense at least as an end user or a customer. So the topic today, what I thought of discussing with you is about the transition of Indian rural markets from candle light to satellite era. Today, a lot of changes are happening worldwide. Things are becoming uncertain, ambiguous, and sometimes flummoxing. At the same time, we have our own tradition, our own system, our own culture, and our own economy. Incidentally, it is our rural India which has insulated our economy from several meltdowns. If you take the last few decades, the world had experienced several economic catastrophes and murkiness, such as subprime crisis in the United States of America, then Greece crisis in Europe, and Dubai crisis in the Western Asia, and so on, including the Brexit. But India, although not very Teflonish in this concern, but it was well protected, it was insulated, thanks to the rural India for doing that excellent job. In fact, if the rural economy did not support our country, certainly we would have been badly affected during those economic scenarios. So there are a lot of reasons to understand rural from different platforms. Rural is not something which is to be understood in the way in which the Europeans and Americans and Western countries understood. And incidentally, today they are also changing their entire mindset. So, very important. Just believe it. Once upon a time, rural was considered as a black box. Nobody can understand what exactly the rural is. It's very difficult. And many companies thought rural market is only a dumping yard of urban surplus. But today they change their mind totally. It is no more dumping yard. Rather, it is a floodgate for most of the FMCG and the durable companies to penetrate, to survive, to stand, and to strive. That is the scenario. Let's see, why we need to have a session on the rural markets. And the reality is to understand the nuances of rural first. Let's go with what is rural. In Tamil, it is very beautifully stated. Rural means Uragam. Ur plus Agam. Uragam. But the misconception is many of us believe rural means village, Gramam or Kugramam. It is not the fact. But it is so unfortunate. Everybody try to define rural according to their convenience, comfortability, and their conduciveness. There is no exactness towards the real understanding of rural in the context of definition. However, it is sacrosanct to take a few which would help us to understand what the rural is from the perspective of the government and policymakers. The first and foremost is about the census. This is one of the most important agencies as country. Revenue village, right, which may be a combination of few hamlets. Hamlets means Kugramam, and this revenue village is usually headed by a VAO, village administrative officer. As in Tamil we say rural means Uragam, it also includes towns, which means a population of above 5,000 with a density of population of around 400 per square kilometer, and most importantly, close to 3/4 of the male population engaged in non-agricultural work. It is not exactly farm activities, it is also non-farm activities. The second major agency is IRDA, the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India. It has defined a very similar way. It has defined in a very similar way, excepting one major area of concern, wherein the male population is bound to be just 25% and not 75%. So now when you take rural, we have to understand rural from marketing perspective and also non-marketing perspective. But everybody talk about rural. It becomes an inevitable element just because for a few valid reasons. One, more than 900 million people You cannot ignore it. It is too big to be missed out. Unopposed. If you take many European countries, they do not have villages exceeding 1,000, but India is a country with 10,000 plus such villages. The contribution of the rural to the economy is fascinating. It is close to 3/10 of the entire country's GDP. The most crucial point is this rural India that accommodates nearly 2/3 of the workforce. It is actually supporting every breadwinner of the nation to stand on their own legs. That is why today the rural India is gaining a lot of significance. It is having a new dimension both from marketing as well as administration setup. Just let's see what rural from the point of view of industries. Because industries are always trying to look rural from different dimension. For them, rural is not just a battlefield. They cannot afford, right, to have that advantage all the time. So the real understanding of rural become mandatory. You cannot ignore the rural markets because culturally there is a new pattern of livelihood happening, totally changing. One side, if you take the administration, the political setup is also changing. We have a lot of new amendments in our act. Right. This is about the rural India.
28 states, 600,000 villages, 4 major religions, 1,650 ethnic groups, 15 major languages, 1,350 dialects, with traditions and cultures, customs and habits that vary from region to region. Truly, a land of unity in diversity. Then why is everyone talking about going rural? Because rural India offers the greatest hope to Indian marketers seeking growth for their products and services, with 73% of Indian population, or 12% of the world population, living in the villages of India. Imagine a universe of 730 billion people, 480 billion adults, 135 billion households, and with low penetration of many product categories. Rural markets are not just important, but absolutely vital. How do we tap this huge potential? With what types of products? With what pricing? How do we reach the products to the interiors of this vast country? What is the profile of the rural customer? How do we communicate our messages to the rural masses? These are questions for which there are no standard or magic answers. Questions which still need to be addressed by every marketer for each one of his product categories, with total commitment and a long-term vision. Rural initiatives that are sustained over a period of time are the ones which will ultimately succeed in the marketplace.
Okay. So therefore now it is the time to understand the rural in the context of the changing scenario. Now traditionally if you take rural India or rural economy, it was totally different from what we are seeing today. So therefore, the real understanding of rural is so vital. So let's see how this is happening. Now let's take the country in the context of geographical identification. This is called as news behavior. It is nothing but north, east and west, south. So if you divide the country into 4 quarters, we find north, east, south and west not having similarity. Very many times you find the marketers also made this culpable error. They believed wrongly, sometimes strongly, that rural means a homogeneous setup. True, geographically, rural is homogeneous, but not by the behavior. Homogeneous is not necessarily always same. It could be also similar. That is why the real understanding of rural from multiple dimension in the context of regional division is impeccable. Now let's take north. North always shows a sort of aggressiveness. It's always dominating. Even if you take politics right from the day of our independence, till date you find the dominance of north can be felt. And these people believe that big is beautiful. At the same time, east, it is a different world altogether. People are very sensual in nature. Assertive women, even if you take the recent election in the West Bengal, needless to say, it shows how the women can be assertive even in politics. And men are generally socialistic and idealistic. Connecting north and east would give you an emotional and expressive outlook. At the same time, when you take south, it's very sensual. Now, if you take the people of Dindigul, I have been once or twice to Dindigul. I understand the kind of hospitality, what is provided to the guest is amazing. It can be felt throughout the country, wherever you go, especially if you take south and Tamil Nadu in particular. The respect for the visitors, strangers and relatives is amazing, except in metropolitan cities. So this behavior gives a family-centric, and people are generally health and culturally conscious. We always give a lot of importance for culture. According to the critical sociologist Stephen M. Busher, he says that culture is how people create meaning and sustain identity. This is one of the strongest reasons why, during the Jallikattu, we stood together beyond the boundaries. We never had any barrier to isolate ourselves. We worked together and we ensured our culture icon is ultimately finalized. Now, when you take West, they are leisure lovers. They love to enjoy. West is incidentally very much westernized rather. They have a very simple life and money is God. That is why most of the time you find business people are most likely from West. Either it is Madhya Pradesh border or Maharashtra or Gujarat or Rajasthan. And democratic is also found. There is a connectivity between the West and South. Lot of simplicity, cleanliness and hygiene could be felt in Goa, part of Karnataka and Kerala. Why? Because there are different reasons to connect the rural India even by regional identity. Now, how to go to rural? Very many times we thought rural would come to us. Never. It is we to go to rural. Only by taking such initiatives you can make a big change. Definitely, if you take the rural markets, they are still to be explored. It is still unexplored to a greater extent. Whether it is fast moving consumer goods or durable goods, or if you take vehicles, commercial vehicles or non-commercial vehicles, it is still to be explored to a greater extent. That is the reason why everybody is looking for an opportunity to explore. Some companies proved very successfully exploring rural. How this company penetrated the rural markets of Maharashtra?
We are in a small village called Agman, Taluka Palghar, in the Thane district of Maharashtra. a village untouched by modernity. Large areas of barren land, absence of basic commodities like water, electricity, and even roads. The inhabitants are mostly daily wage earners who are unable to arrange for cooking fuel such as coal, wood, or kerosene easily. Every time a woman had to cook, she would have to walk miles into the fields to collect firewood. Besides these problems, there were serious health issues involved. The closed places only added to the problem. In circumstances like these, HB Gas initiated the first of its kind project, Rasoika, a community kitchen that would provide the villages a clean, safe, and economic solution to one of the very basic needs, cooking. HPCL renovated the house provided by the village panchayat and converted it to HB Gas Rasoika by providing the kitchen. 8 double burner stoves, utensils, and an installation with manifold cylinders connected with Suraksha hose. The HB Gas Rasoika has a capacity of providing cooking facilities for approximately 75 families cooking twice a day. Adequate provisions has been kept to increase both the cylinder manifold as well as number of stoves. The facility, including day-to-day operations, such as collection of money, booking the food bills, etc., is being independently looked after by the panchayat and is totally self-run. The charges for the LPG would be on hourly basis depending on the time utilized for cooking.
So therefore, there is a lot of reason behind going rural. If you try to penetrate rural, needless to say, rural is always open its door for you to achieve great things. Now I'll move on to one of the key areas of concern. Very many times, right, we think rural is still in the stage of evolution. Of course, evolution is something inevitable. But today, rural India is moving from evolution to revolution. On the other hand, if you take urban markets of India, it evolved over a period of time and moved from evolution to revolution, and now revolution to re-evolution. That is what exactly happening. It is always worth to understand how this rural market evolved over a period of time. When you take rural markets, right, there are three important stages. One is historical era. India is a country with a rich heritage, and more specifically, if you take Tamil Nadu, there are plenty of literature to tell the pride of our own culture, custom, language, and system rather. But if you talk about the marketing perspective, whether you take Silappatikaram, what a beautiful citation you would get about marketing. Manimegalai, even Tolkappiyam defines, and Thiruvallur, right, if you take Thirukkural, Thiruvallur has clearly defined what exactly a business is. But if you take the reality, it is more about geographical. Rural means a place, that's it, nothing beyond that. The second part is about the pre-independence era, where economic orientation. You know very well the purpose of the British to come to India was totally different. At the same time, a lot of people in our country gradually emerged economically, which was coupled by their academics, and they moved from their villages to small towns, from small towns to big cities, and big cities to metropolitan cities. This migration has empowered the economy from the point of view of marketing orientation, which is the next stage. This is the most crucial stage, what is called as post-independence era. We have 5 phases, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in different situations. Now just let's go about what this evolution is from different phases. Incidentally, after independence, the government was to empower our country from rural, because rural was considered to be not just the backbone, the country's identity. So you find very conspicuously rural to rural was very popular and rural to urban was minimal. The entire market was unorganized. And today if you take unorganized market, still they are surviving. I think in Dindukal district, I suppose Vattalagundu, one of the most important markets in Tamil Nadu for vegetables and fruits. So you cannot signalize unorganized markets, but you have to bring it under the same shelter of development. At this stage, the rural marketing was considered only as an agricultural marketing, nothing beyond that, because it was primitive. There were few industries, no doubts. Even if you take our Coimbatore, cotton industries were popular. So we used to call Coimbatore as a Manchester of South India. And oil seeds, if you take the Tamil Nadu, Virudhunagar, Kovilpatti, Tirunelveli, oil seeds, oil extraction was very popular. And the northern part of Tamil Nadu, you had a lot of sugar industries in the past. Now it is limited. So there were industries, but not to name very specifically. And all the acts confined only to rural. And believe it, the first brand in India to penetrate rural was Asian Paints. The first brand that penetrated rural India was Asian Paints, both vertically and horizontally understanding the needs of rural. Second phase was so crucial because country was facing a lot of economic issues. It was a time, a spectacular development that took place in the field of agriculture called Green Revolution. Immediately after Green Revolution, we had White Revolution. Thanks to Dr. Kurian for making this big change. And very well as fraternity of commerce, so many laws, labor laws, industrial laws, everything that happened during this period. And the emergence of cooperative society in rural was remarkable. Milk cooperative society and then agricultural cooperative society becoming very popular. At the same time, gradual mechanization entered in rural, in the sense, tractors, pump set, equipments, fertilizers, chemical, everything started coming to the rural India. And the reality was rural to urban become a new channel, right? And urban to rural is also becoming an upcoming channel at this stage. Very peculiar advertisement you would remember, washing powder Nirma, that penetrated rural market only during this period. And some of the durables like Usha, Philips, Murphy and others also so aggressively entered, right, in the rural markets of India. When you take the third phase, it's called the pre-LPG era, where the entire market was dominated by urban. Because it was a time many of the saturated European and Western brands thought they could come to India and penetrate. And they were targeting only the urban markets, not the rural. So what was available to rural, whatever was not so fast moving, was dumped to the urban India. This is very important period for the vehicle segment, especially two-wheelers. I think some of the faculties might remember in Suzuki, which is now called as TVS Suzuki, one of the most popular bikes of the South India. Hero Honda, today it is Hero and Honda. Yamaha, still a dream bike. In Chennai, the cost of an Yamaha bike is about 1 lakh now. Right? Very old bike in a good condition cost more than 1 lakh. And Kawasaki, Bajaj, all of them entered in India. And they have mass marketing concept. They didn't distinguish the rural and urban separately. They entered as a mass market concept. Then what happened? Traditional mopeds like TVS 50, TVS Champ, Bajaj M80, and a few which were not so popular in South. Hero Panther and Pacer were so popular in Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan. That belt started moving from cities to small towns and to rural areas. And remarkably, durables, VKC footwear was started during this period. Bata extended, their marketing activities from urban to rural during this period. So fantastic change was initiated. And this was a time where cinema became very popular, 80s to 90s, always dream time for those who born at the time. Doordarshan, you might remember Doordarshan, maybe not your generation exactly, All India Radio, all of them started entering into the field and they played a very crucial role in the advertisement and promotion. When I take the fourth phase, right? This is exactly the liberalization, privatization, and globalization era. Urban market undoubtedly shown a tremendous growth, a mammoth growth. At the same time, there was a fear among the fast-moving consumer brands, durable brands, more specifically, brands which have been identified as product which are maturing fast, had the fear of moving away from the market. So they thought they could enter into the rural markets so that they can survive better. At the same time, rural market was very expensive. The distribution channel what you have today was not there. Thanks to Government of India for taking a lot of initiatives to uplift the rural economically with urban counterpart. And some of you may be aware of an issue called as Y2K issue, Millennium issue, or the issue of 31/12/1999, 23 hours, 59 minutes, and what's next? That's called Y2K issue. This gave a facelift to India in the global job market. Many Indians started moving from India to abroad and bringing international brands to India. And this is what happening in the urban market. So most of the FMCG and national brands, they thought they could go to rural at least at the fag end of the stage. And they believe rural and urban are equally important because once the urban market is saturated, back to go. Therefore, rural becoming one of the popular area of concern. And finally, PACE5. This is so spectacular. A few years back, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan came to Loyola College for an international conference. He said, by the year 2000, the government was focusing about converting the agriculture into new paradigm, namely from green revolution to evergreen revolution. Because one side, the demand for land is increasing for industrialization and urbanization. Other side, the population is also equally increasing. So the supply of food grains become very vital. So therefore, the country planned to move from green revolution to evergreen revolution, which is really rural centric. Thanks to the former Prime Minister of India, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, who created the concept of Golden Quadrangle Road. Today, colloquially, we call it as bypass road. It's because of this initiative, today you find the rural infrastructure development is amazing. And during this period, the country has witnessed a spectacular growth in literacy and per capita income. And the poverty elevation scheme were so successful. This helped the marketers to gradually move to the rural as it was booming and urban which was saturating. FMCG and durable brands are focusing on rural and they went for customization of rural. And the new concepts like Project Shakti, ITC eChopal, everything came. And MNC brands realized that 12% of the global population lives in Indian rural markets. So therefore, rural becomes center of attraction. Sometimes, right, you find companies can make a big change. Hindustan Liver Limited created a concept called as Shakti Amma, empowering women entrepreneur, especially helping them with seed capital and the products. And they had a project called Shakti Man for men, helping the youth to empower with their own business. This has been very successful and they try to uplift the rural livelihood. This is exactly what we are going to focus now for some time. A transition of rural markets from the marketing mix point of view. Traditionally we have only 4 P's of marketing, but how this 4 P's of marketing has a different dimension. It is not exactly the 4 P's as we are thinking right from the general marketing perspective in the context of rural. When you take product from the rural point of view, it must be acceptable. No, you find the rural mindset is something which is unpredictable. Believe it, in Punjab and Haryana, Escort, one of the prominent companies manufactured tractors, manufactured noiseless tractors with very high horsepower. It was so flummoxing, it was a total failure. Because Punjabis believe if the noise is less, then it has less horsepower. Although they claim, technologically it is having high horsepower, it was a failure. Similarly, when you take people of South, we made some of the brands vanish from the market. Take for example Nokia. One side Samsung slaughtered the market of Nokia from the technology end. The other side Micromax started killing the brand from the price. So if you have a product that can be acceptable no matter what the product is, so therefore market should be very careful about the living condition, the environment in which they are trying to penetrate the market. Now in this connection, let's take one example, Hindustan Liver Limited. If you take Hindustan Liver Limited, they have product length, product breadth and product width. But they combine it in such a manner, none of the product cannibalize. Surf is never a competitor for Rin. And Rin is never a competitor for Wheel. And Wheel is not always Wheel. At times it is an active Wheel. Because they want to make the market to accept. Active Wheel is specifically meant for certain areas of North India where the groundwater is very salty. If you use active Wheel in South, that's the end of the quality of cloth. So they create a product in an acceptable manner. At the same time, they also cater to the needs of the upper middle class and the middle class by giving a product like Surf Excel. Next, when you take price, we should always think of affordability. Rural customers are generally price sensitive. They cannot ignore anything connected to price. Low price points are always sought after by rural customers. That is one of the strongest reason why products which are sold for 1 rupee, 2 rupee or 5 rupee or 10 rupee are very popular. Incidentally, if you take a product like Nestle Sunrise, 50 gram is not at all moving in rural areas. During my research, I found 50 grams and 100 grams are very slow moving. But the 2 rupee pack is very fast moving. So the product remains unchanged. Now the affordability, because if you take rural areas, there are daily wage earners, weekend wage earners, monthly salary people and so on. So you should not compromise the affordability of the people in the context of the products, especially the FMCG sector. Next is availability. India is a very big country. So many states, so many union territories. So covering India is not a joke. Either by a geographical distance or by culture, by custom or language. Ensure you make the availability of goods. There are two things you have to understand. Number one, location, and number two, localization. Just you take a street in Chennai during Diwali time, it is so jam-packed, right? You need not move. You'll be pushed into the direction in which you want to go. Location. On the other side, you take our own traditional Dindigul Talapakatti biryani. Localization. There were times, we need to stand in queue to enter Dindigul Talapakatti biryani in Chennai. Today, they have a lot of franchisees. So here, when you make the goods available, certainly the customers will always take the advantage. My companion, Dr. J.J. Soundarajan, used to say this very often. A delighted customer is answered, no doubts. These words are so important. On the other hand, an undelighted customer can create competitors for you. That is why ensure you make the goods are available. If you don't make the goods available, certainly the customers will find a competitor for that. Next is about promotion. As far as city blood is concerned, it is only promotion. But for rural people, it has a lot of emotion. The emotional appeal towards the promotion is more of creating awareness. One side you take rural market, literacy is increasing, social media, empowering. Today you don't find many wall paintings or road shows and so on. It's totally changing. If you take YouTube channel, there are a lot of people from the rural area winning so much of financial gain. So this shows now how the promotion can happen. Just one incident, Hindustan Unilever Limited used to have this campaign. The YouTube link is also given for wanting of time. I'm not going to touch it. Kumbh Mela. During Kumbh Mela, Hindustan Liver Limited, then now it's Unilever Limited, started this campaign called Kumbh Mela campaign. What they did, they didn't do a remarkable work, but today it is so vital, especially in the context of COVID background. So they used to offer roti. roti to all, right, the devotees who attend Kumbh Mela festival. The first day, the roti was served without any specific reason. In the second day, in the roti, they made an impression, right? Using the heating machine, they made an impression. Did you wash your hands in Hindi and English the other side? When the roti was served, many people observed that there is a message, and these people straight away went to find a location to wash the hands, and there the Hindustan Liver Limited kept Lifebuoy hand wash, and that is the initiatives of Hindustan Liver Limited to have the Lifebuoy campaign. Today, you find no hand wash become part and parcel of a life. We cannot have or imagine a life without a hand wash. It's totally changing rather. But the initiative may be small, but the rewards are very big. Now let's come to the crucial point. What is happening in rural? What is this changing scenario? How the rural is reforming, transforming and transfiguring from the traditional candlelight era to satellite era. The candlelight era shows what the rural was as it is in black and white. But what is happening in rural? A total change. If you take the socio-economic profile, it is changing. If you take the cultural scenario, it is changing. If you take the political structure, it is changing. The changing is happening rapidly. So today, if you take the urban markets, it's very a sorry statement. Cities are not modernized; they are just westernized. Most of the cities in India, including Chennai, is certainly not modernized. It is only westernized, especially from the consumer behavior point of view. But thanks to rural India, where the modernization can be felt everywhere, vertically and horizontally across the latitude and longitude of this nation. So therefore, there is a lot of reasons to talk about this changing scenario of rural market. Now, when you take the rural India, what is happening here? So the number of supermarkets in rural India, claim to be more than what originally US is having. Whether it is LIC or private policy, more than 50% they depend only on rural. Thanks to Government of India for bringing communication revolution, connecting India by mobile. Today, the rural market is much bigger than urban counterpart, and the number of Kisan cards are more than the number of debit and credit cards used in our country. So, lot of changes, lot of new products from traditional candies to Perk, Dairy Milk, 5-star, everywhere it is available. Anywhere you go, it is available. One side, charcoal and brick powder is changed to Colgate tooth powder and toothpaste. On the other side, Colgate is bringing Colgate charcoal, and Dabur is bringing Dabur red because they want to depict the brick powder. The other side, from neem to bubble, now we move to toothbrush. And totally there is a change in the scenario of Indian Postal Department. Unbranded become branded. Everything is branded. And thanks for ensuring that domestic brands still survive. The niche market is so vital for a country like India. So this is very vital. And people are changing from the traditional wood fire cooking to pressure cooker. And the houses have been changing because of the initiative taken by Government of India, especially the Pradhan Mantri schemes. And there is a total change in the way in which we dress, the way in which we live, especially in the educational sector. And today, a lot of urban influence can be felt in rural. At the same time, the initiative taken by the corporates cannot be sidelined. So therefore, we need to understand how the corporates are empowering rural. It is actually these corporates who are making a big change, a rapid change in the entire rural structure. If the corporates are not coming forward for this big change, it is not possible for the rural market to go for this transition. So we have to understand the role play of the corporates. Let's just take one simple example. With that, we conclude the transition of Indian rural market from candlelight to satellite era. ITC, it was Imperial Tobacco Company. Then it became Indian Tobacco Company. Then it became ITC. Today, ITC is changing the entire sphere of rural. ITC has taken a lot of initiatives to uplift rural. Whether it is north or south, and more particularly northeast, you find the role play of ITC can be felt. So what ITC is doing, it has taken a big initiative to convert this rural market from the initial stage to digital stage.
For decades together, the small Indian farmer has been strapped in an endless chain of dependence. Dependence on the monsoons, on fragmented land holdings, on unreliable intermediaries, and a system that subsists largely without infrastructure. ITC's eChopal, a unique click and mortar initiative, tackles all these issues across major Indian crops, enhancing quality and productivity, reducing costs, empowering the small farmer to reach global markets. June 2000, Madhya Pradesh. ITC launched the first farmer websites, Soya Chopal. Accessed through internet kiosks set up by ITC in their homes and villages. Operated by the farmers themselves. And so proven to be a highly dependable source for all critical inputs. Best farm practices, up-to-the-minute prices, weather forecasts, seeds, chemicals, and fertilizers. Bringing farmers the never-before benefits of information technology combined with physical infrastructure at designated ITC hubs for instant sale and cash disbursement. For India's billion-dollar shrimp business, the eChopal model serves another vital need. ITC's AquaChopal well links the aqua farmer to state-of-the-art laboratories set up by the company, helping him conform to European and US quality norms essential for global competitiveness. The coffee-growing districts of Coorg, Karnataka, enjoy a well-established plantation culture with adequate infrastructure. But their produce is at the mercy of a volatile international price line. This is where ITC intervenes with Planters Net, opening up many more trading options through an electronic marketplace. Another significant ITC initiative is in wheat. Here, supply far exceeds demand. Prices are stagnant, and the farmer is demotivated. In this state of inertia, ITC's eChopal acts as an effective instrument of change, helping farmers get the right price, reaching their produce to the right market. ITC's eChopal is a transformational model built on market principles, creating value for society and the shareholder. Designed for instant scalability, it is ready to deliver many new benefits. Healthcare, education, insurance, reaching the remotest corners, creating infrastructure where there's none. ITC is taking rural India through a deep evolution.
So therefore, right, today you find how the corporates can make a big change. Needless to say, unless otherwise you have a collaborative work, the private public participation is so impeccable. You cannot have the affordability of just depending only on the government. We need to work together with private, especially companies like ITC, Hindustan Lever Limited, Nestle, and other major players are contributing a lot for this transformation. So just to conclude, right, India is changing rapidly in all dimensions, whether it is political or economic or cultural or marketing. There is a spectacular change, right, in the entire system. The change in the climate is also a factor to be considered, because the climate decides what you drink, whether you drink a cool drinks or you take a cup of coffee or tea. So some or the other way we are also connected to nature. So when you take environment, it is not just a demographic environment, it is not just psychographic environment, it is not just economic environment, even the natural. So taking into consideration this changing scenario, certainly we can make a mammoth achievement. So rural India is no more a market of candlelight, it is certainly emerging as a market of satellite. Very conspicuous change in the growth and development, and in near future, if at all brands want to survive, sustain and strive, undoubtedly it is possible only by taking into account the rural market into consideration. Rural market is no more a dumping yard of the urban surplus. Rather, you have to have customized strategies to understand the rural India. Unless otherwise you design your product, you pack your product, and you deliver your product which are so conducive for rural, certainly you may not be able to survive. As the urban market is maturing, or sometime for few products it is saturating, the last destiny is the rural markets of India. Only by understanding these rural markets of India, corporates of the future can find the return on investment and the return on marketing investment on the higher ends.